Boys, today we're going to go through at least one overrated fighter in every single division, and we're going to rank them to see out of all of these overrated fighters, which one is the most overrated. As you guys can see on screen, we have number 1 being the most overrated, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7 and 8. That's one fighter per division, and you know, this is going to be a hella controversial video. I understand that. I don't care. It's time that someone finally, exposes these guys for being a little bit overrated than what they actually are. Let's go from number 8 to number 1. The 8th spot I have in that middleweight division, I have Israel Adesanya. Now, am I technically saying that Israel Adesanya is the most overrated middleweight ever? Not necessarily. He is definitely one of them. I hate MMA sometimes too, because it just makes my points make absolutely no sense. Because yes, you can say, look at his title defenses, look at his career, and they're not that impressive. And then this guy goes and flatlines Alex Pereira. So that's why I have him at the 8th spot, but you have to just remember this boy's career. A lot of people glaze this guy, but a lot of people say this guy's a finishing machine. He's always in entertaining fights, which for the most part, other than the Alex Pereira fights, farthest thing from the truth. Staying outside the distance, fiending off the points, just going to the decision constantly. Yes, he also he knocked out Robert Whittaker. You can put that there. Yes, I understand. But then you can be like, he lost the second fight. He arguably lost. Rewatch that fight. It was a robbery decision. Doesn't really matter. I have Israel Adesanya here. You can't not put Israel Adesanya as one of the most overrated fighters. There was a point in time where people were heavily glazing this guy. He is one of the most overrated fighters that we have today in the modern era. You look at his title defenses compared to some other modern defenses, doesn't really hold up in my opinion. Let's go down to the 7th guy. 7th guy, I also have a previous champion. I got Leon Edwards here. Now, the main thing I have to put for Leon Edwards is the fact that you're not finishing the worst possible version of Colby Covington we've ever seen. The fact you're not finishing that guy shows you deserve to be here. You could also put Colby Covington here, but I think it just looks worse on Leon Edwards for the performance he had against Colby Covington. You can be like, yeah, but that was a one-off type of performance. No, go look at the recent one, Bilal Muhammad fight. He looked like shit in there. And the one thing I have noticed, which is kind of funny and sad for Leon, but where did all this dude's fans go? I remember you guys. You guys were glazing this boy up. There's a shit ton of this guy's fans. Ever since he lost to Bilal, I haven't heard a peep from any of them. So sad to see for Leon. It is what it is. But again, one of the more overrated guys that we'd had in that welterweight division going on. People are saying he's going to be the next GOAT. He's gonna surpass Usman for title defenses. Did that shit ever happen? Hell no. Usman is better than this guy, and then you can go and look, but yeah, Usman got knocked out and then lost the trilogy, I guess. But still, one of the most overrated welterweights that we've had, especially in that modern area. Let's go down to number 6 though. 6th guy I have on this list, Magomed Ankalaev. Everyone's glazing this boy. He could arguably be moved up, but everyone's saying he's a guy who's going to be Pereira. He's going to take down Pereira and submit Pereira. He's going to take him down, do some ground and pound work. Go look at his past. Go look at his whole career. This boy isn't a finisher on the ground, at least. This boy has no submission threats. He is not the boogeyman that everyone's making him out to be. And I'm sick of people acting like he's the biggest test for Pereira. I think Pereira sleeps this dude easily. I don't know why people think, just because, yes, he's had, he hasn't even had much wrestling, ground game, submission, not even just wins, but submission threats in the UFC. I don't know where people are thinking this guy is the next coming of Jesus Christ, who's going to come out here and just, without lifting a finger, destroy Pereira. I don't understand the delusion, but it is what it is. I think we're going to see that fight sometime next year so we can put it to bed. But again, Magomed, I've been saying this forever. Fuck Magomed. All my homies hate Magomed. Arguably, right now, the most overrated light heavyweight in the world. Let's keep going down to the fifth spot. Fifth spot. I hate to do this, but I got Steve Ercik. Steve Ercik coming off that knockout loss after, going tooth and nail with Pantoja and arguably beating Pantoja. People were glazing this guy like no tomorrow. And at the end of the day, it had all of these guys. It's not their fault they're on the list. It's the fans' fault they're on the list that, they glazed them way too much. And, Steve Ercik, me included, we had the delusion of this guy being, I guess, better than what he actually was. That knockout loss to Kai Kara-France isn't gonna be the first time this boy gets knocked out. Mark my words. Do I think he goes back into title contention? It's possible, but maybe just had a really good night against Pantoja. We don't know. We'll have to be honest, his next fight, depending on how well he can do, he'll probably get out of this list. I won't lie, but people are just overrating these guys, and that's it. It's not these guys specifically, it's the fans overrating them. Let's go down to that fourth spot. I'm guilty of this too. Beneil Dariush. There was a point in time where I was telling people Beneil Dariush would beat Islam Makhachev. There was a point in time where I was telling people Beneil Dariush is gonna be the hardest fight for Islam Makhachev. And now, hindsight 2020 and all that stuff, but no, this has to be one of the most overrated fighters in modern history, Beneil Dariush. It's crazy. People thought that Charles was gonna get his ass handed to him from Beneil Dariush, and then there's people even saying that that Arman was gonna have a very hard fight against Beneil. It's sad to see. It sucks because I was wrong. That's the biggest thing. But yeah, Beneil Dariush, a great top 6 to 7 gatekeeper in the lightweight division, I would say. But yeah, definitely overglazed this guy just a little bit. Let's go into the number 3 spot. Arguably, these guys could be switched around in the top 3, but for right now, I have Tai Tuivasa. Maybe you guys have forgotten, but there was talks back when this guy was on his win streak that he would beat John Jones. The amount of delusion that we had for Tai Tuivasa ever since, I think it was a Derek Lewis fight, his last win. Ever since that, the amount of delusion, especially after he got that flash knockdown on Cyril Gane, the amount of delusion poured to this guy, the amount of glaze this guy has ever got. I think that's partially why he's on that huge downfall in his career, is because everyone glazed this guy way too much, probably put him in his head that, yeah, he's better than what he actually is. I think that has something to do with it. Also, this boy is just very undisciplined. Walking out to go fight, who was it? Was it Tybura? It might have been Tybura, and he's fucking eating Taco Bell while warming up. Very undisciplined, It is what it is. Tai Tuivasa, I should have put fucking Robelis Despain here. I should have done that now that I'm looking back at it, but that boy isn't even in the UFC anymore, so it technically doesn't really make sense. But yeah, Tai Tuivasa, recent memory, one of the most overrated heavyweights in history, not in history, but definitely modern UFC. Let's go down to the second place guy. This might be controversial. This is my own opinion, my stake in it, but Yair Rodriguez, people are saying there's only one guy that, has a chance to beat Ilia Topuria, and that's Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez would get his ass handed to him all 5 rounds. I've seen it on Twitter too. I don't know where this delusion is coming from, that Yair Rodriguez is going to be the hardest fight in featherweight for Ilia Topuria. Yes, Yair Rodriguez is extremely dynamic and dangerous, I guess, in the first round, but we saw Brian Ortega be able to handle that fairly easily. What makes you think that Ilia Topuria wouldn't do the exact same thing but 10 times worse? Are people forgetting that Ilia Topuria has a skill to take down Yair Rodriguez and do whatever he wants to him? I think people are forgetting that. Yes, he's dangerous and dynamic for the first round, but so is Ilia Topuria. And I think people are just glazing this boy way too much. I don't think this is the hardest test for Ilia Topuria. Honestly, even Diego Lopez is a hard first round for Ilia. Arguably even harder than Yair. This is a recent thing too. I don't know where this like out of pocket glaze is coming from for Yair Rodriguez. I don't know what the fans have been smoking up, but they need to calm down. Let's go down to the number 1 guy, by far the most overrated guy on this entire list, Chito Vera. There was talk about Chito just running through Sean O'Malley. I believe when the fight first got booked, Sean O'Malley was the underdog to Chito. I have no idea why anyone thought Chito would have an ounce of success against O'Malley, only because of what happened in the first fight, which we did see was a complete fluke. We see him fight he is not a he might not even be top 15 level bantamweight. He is very one-dimensional, it's just he's easy to game plan around. And I don't think, you know, the later half of this boy's career is going to be very favorable on that Chito Vera side. Yes, I do like Chito as like a personality. I do like him as just a person in general, but taking that shit away, he is extremely overrated and he is not as good as what people are thinking that he is. It's crazy the amount of glaze that Chito gets just because people think him as a cool guy that they can relate to. Yes, you can think all that you want, but you can't just overly glaze these guys. That's the reason why they're on the list. Am I saying there's other guys in the division that couldn't be on this list? Absolutely not. Maybe if you guys want, we can do a part 2. But yeah, these are the guys I have in every single division ranked up. Let me know in the comments below. Would you switch any of these guys around? Who would you put in each division other than these guys? And yeah, quickly look at this shit too, because 99% of you guys are being hoes and not supporting your boy. I've been grinding, putting out that content, help your boy out get to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, guys, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.